Hey, I'm Dr. Sebastian Gonzalez from Performance Play Sports Care. If you found this video, that means that you've taken part of our email campaign to really educate the public on hip conditions in general. It is something that I find very common, but what I've found consistently across the board is people don't tend to understand the hip, mechanics of the hip, or the surrounding area. What we're going to start with here is the 3 exercises for the pectineus. You've already seen the 3 for the piriformis, and again, this is just a very small part of a larger rehab program, which good rehab programs for the hip typically encompass these deep stabilizer groups, such as the pectineus, the piriformis, some of the other rotators of the hip, the glute medius, and so on. The larger muscles also need to be conditioned, such as the glute max, the hip flexor, the adductors, and so on, as well as the core, and just also some finesse of pelvic movement and rotation. So there's lots of parts to it. If you're getting blown away and not understanding it, just ask for help. They're very easy to design, and most people respond very well to them. Let's start with these 3 exercises for the pectineus. The first one is very simple. It is what are we going to call it? A supine hip flexion. So supine is the position. Hip flexion is mainly just a movement of the hip. So this one, when I read it, I thought it was going to be more elaborate and fun to do. It's not very fun to do, which is totally okay. But if it works, this has a very high EMG activity on the pectineus, which again, the pectineus is the muscle on the front side of the hip here. So all we're going to do is, if we're going to do this one side on the right, we're just going to slide this up to 45. We're going to bring the knee to the ceiling. We're going to lower the knee to that last position, and then we're going to slide it down. So I can already feel this on the front side of my hip. So we're going to do this for repetitions. Typically on these exercises, I recommend between 2 to 3 sets, usually of about 10 to 15 reps. Sets are how many times you do the whole duration of the larger number being the reps. So in this set, I might do 10 reps if that's all I can do. Or I might take breaks in between, which is okay as well. I might do the other side. Now the second exercise is, again, the single leg bridge, and we've seen the single leg bridge before. We've seen it on the Piriformis video that we did. So it was interesting to see in the study that the single leg bridge activated. It was number 2 out of actually 13, 14 of both the muscles for the amount of exercises tested. It was number 2 ranking on both of them. So I thought that was really cool. It's one that we really have to add then. It's important. So I know it's very common for people to go beyond these things very quickly and try to get into larger lifts and more complex and burning types of rehab programs. But this is one that you really need to use to stabilize and make it so the hip is functioning well. So in order to do this, I'll just go through it again. So we're looking at for about 45-degree knee bends. So 45 up like this. You can do it with the other knee in this position, whatever you want to do. This is the hardest. This is probably the next hardest, and this is the easiest. So in this one, I'll do it the easiest. You're going to drive up through the heel, and I'm going to make it so this hits about 0 degrees here, or so I should be planking. There's no sagging involved. So I'd hold it up at the top for a few seconds and then drop it down. Again, up, slow on the way down, pause for a few seconds, and then do it again. You'll notice that there's no plopping with it, okay? Some people think that the upward part is the only part of the rehab. It's actually the downward portion as well, under control. Also too, there's the rib cage involved, or having the pelvis and core region under control and not getting sloppy everywhere. So that is one criteria with this study, where they said that the pelvis has to be stabilized in 3 different planes to be able to stimulate these muscles the way we want them to. So that is a whole other part, again, of a larger rehab program. Now the third exercise on this is a double leg bridge. So it's easy to think about that a single leg bridge is going to have more stimulus on this muscle than helping with 2 legs. So again, a 2-leg bridge, is going to be in this position here, and you basically just drive up, hold there, and it's basically like you're doing a single leg bridge but with now 2 legs. So very easy to add. It's not uncommon to get hamstring cramping with this, and if so, I'd change the foot position, maybe move it out or move it in. It works different for different people. So if you have questions along the way, feel free to email me, feel free to ask. I'm here to help, and I love educating. That's my whole thing. I got into sports medicine to educate and help people. I want them to understand. So check out all of our other videos, and hope this was helpful.